Go for it.
All right, welcome everyone. Today is Wednesday, May 27th. This is the Cluster API office hours. As always, please follow the CNCF Code of Conduct and the meeting etiquette. Use the raise hand feature on Zoom if you'd like to speak, and feel free to add any agenda items that you may have in the discussion topics, or if you have any general questions for the group, there's a section right here to do so. And then also please add your name to the attendee list right here. Okay, so as always, we usually start with a little welcome introduction for anyone who's new and who wants to introduce themselves to the group. So if this is your first time joining, or if you haven't been here in a while and you just want to say who you are and what you do, why you're interested in Cluster API, now is your chance to do so. I'll go ahead and mute myself and feel free to speak up. All right, I don't see anyone unmuted, so move on. Okay, so we have a few PSAs. I don't know who wrote these. I'm guessing
I wrote this. Sorry, I was still typing them out. Yeah, the first one is PSA / shout out to the New Relic folks. We have merged KCP adoption functionality. What this will allow you to do is, if you have V1 Alpha 2 machines, for example, there are control plane machines. Now you can create a KCP reference, and KCP will adopt those machines. This is a TLDR, of course, but yeah, like if you want to test this functionality, like we definitely want feedback. And again, like thank you, Seth, Andrew, and all the others like involved in the adoption functionality. Any questions on that?
It's awesome.
Awesome. The other PSA that I has, like the conditional proposal has merged. Fabrizio has started the implementation on it. We're now pretty much working on some tidbits, like with patching and like concurrent patching with different conditions on different controllers on the same object. We come up with like a pretty reasonable solution for the short term, which is to use the patch with a resource version attached to it, which will use optimistic locking to like make sure that like you're always on the latest resource version before applying or like adding a new condition or updating one. On this, like the next point is actually the machine health check proposal has an amendment PR, which is almost ready to go. So if you're interested, there is the PR link here. It's pretty short and sweet. It's just I think like 30 lines of code changes in the proposal, and this is to use, instead of annotations, it's to use conditions to signal if like the health check has passed or if a health check is not passed and the machine needs remediation. That's all I have. Questions, comments, concerns?
All right, I don't see any hand raised. Thanks, Vince. Cool, so does anyone have any impromptu demos, POCs that they wanted to show and they forgot to sign up for? If not, so the next section is general questions. I don't see anything in here yet, but just for anyone who's new, this is more of like if you have any like questions about like Cluster API, anything at all that people here could help answer. Feel free to add them throughout the meeting, and we won't necessarily spend too much time discussing them, but we'll come back at the end and make sure all the questions are answered or at least written down. But for now, I'll just move on to discussion topics, which is the only thing with items in there for now. So I think, Andy, you have the first one.
Yeah, thanks, Cecile. So Justin, since you're here, I wanted to ask about this one and see if there's anybody from Google who's got some time to work on this. The summary on this flake is that based on the machine name and the GCP project name, of which there is a pool of projects that Prowl uses, if the combination of the machine name and the project name in GCP is greater than 63 characters, then we can't spin up instances, or we can't register them as nodes, I should say. And I don't know if this makes sense to like try and change the way we name things or reduce the length of project names or something, but basically this test is going to flake depending on the name of the project that it's running in.
Yes, I wouldn't necessarily call it a flake. I'd call it a like it's not a flake, right? It's a bug.
It's I mean, it will fail or not based.
It will fail very reliably if you study long enough, like suffix. Yes. So it's not like it's an infrastructure thing. We can't pull it off on like test infra or something. No. The other projects use like hashed suffixes to get around this problem. So I don't know if that would work here. It's only a couple of characters over.
The only thing that we potentially could control would be the instance name, since the project name is just from that pool of available projects that Prowl has access to. So maybe we could hash that. But anyways, I wanted to bring this up just to see, like, I did see that someone got assigned 5 days ago, but I don't know this person, and just wasn't sure if there was any movement here. So anyways, I just want to bring it up and raise awareness.
Oh, this is the Kubernetes label. I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you for bringing this up. That is confusing. This is the Kubernetes label, not the GCP label, or?
Well, so what happens is we have Cloud Init for bootstrapping configured to use the local host name value from the instance metadata when registering the node. Local host name is the combination of the instance's name .c .project name .internal. And so if that total string is more than 63 characters, then you end up with the node being unable to register because we store the host name of the node in a label. So we could potentially find a way to get GCP to do different host names, but I doubt that's going to happen. So we need to limit the length of the host name so that when we create the Kubernetes node and it gets that host name label on it, it's 63 characters or less.
Yes, that is like the ones that would normally happen. The ones that normally happen are the Kubernetes, sorry, the GCP resources, for example, being too long, or like, you know, like on AWS, the auto scaling group or something name being too long. But yes, this is. I'll take a look at this. This is a little different from what I thought it was.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Next one is Yassine, non-remediation use cases in machine health checks.
Yeah, so today I started playing a bit with failure reasons and failure messages on the CAPV side and with machine health checks. And we do have certain conditions where we are on some terminal states where we won't need any specific remediation or at least automatic remediation. And we'll mostly need the operator to go and figure things out. Things like the operator needs to free some space before being able to create the machines. So I wanted to ask this group if this is something that makes sense for other providers to have.
I can't raise my hand, but yeah, so like, I mean, I don't actually fully understand like the internal of this use case, but in general, like this is probably something that should probably happen in the cluster infrastructure reconciler. I don't know if that's possible, but um, we're trying not to like add hooks everywhere. Like if, I mean, I'm not sure like how would you do automatic remediation before even creating a machine, if that makes sense.
So the issue is so much remediation is actually not touching the machine in the in these cases where we have right now MHC just deleting the infra machines whenever there's any failure reason that is set.
Are you asking about being a bit more granular in terms of what the action does, and if in some cases that are well known, not do anything?
Exactly. So there are some cases where just recreating the machine won't change a thing, and it will most likely confuse the users because the infra machine is just going to be in a hot loop of delete and create.
So would you expect the machine health check to not like ask for deletion remediation, but would you also expect the machine health check to reevaluate after a certain time or something?
So one of the one of the things that I could see is potentially for some specific conditions being able to ignore remediation for a certain time if specified, and if no time is specified, then just ignore it.
Got it. I suggest to open an issue or like and discuss on the proposal.
So is this worth a proposal or just file an issue for an improvement?
I don't know, but Joel has his hand raised. I think I want to let him speak.
Yeah. So from what you've just described, I actually think I've seen a scenario that might be similar before. Maybe you can confirm this, but when I've been playing with like spot instances, there's certain scenarios like the spot price being too low where Amazon won't give you a new instance. So if that instance comes up, it automatically goes failed. The machine health check deletes it, and then you end up in a hot loop of creations. Is that the same sort of scenario?
Yeah. So whenever you cannot satisfy the condition by a recreation, then this feature would have value.
Nadir?
Yeah, I'm just wondering in terms of the UX, one of the issues is because the machine gets deleted, the user who's not watching recenter doesn't know why things are going wrong because the machine gets deleted before they see the failure. The other thing is, it almost feels like we would want to make MHC decide whether or not to delete the machine based on a condition of the machine set as a whole. So maybe you can set like under this scenario, under this condition and the machine set, because the data store is full, spot price is too low, like don't do remediation. I don't know exactly, something like that.
Yeah, I'm for the level, I'm not so worried about we can always discuss at which level we want to do it. I just wanted to see if at first sight this was something useful for other providers.
Joel, back to you. Sorry about that.
So one idea or thought I had about this originally, rather than making this some sort of clever extra mechanism, was just to have it sort of hot loop, but with back off. I was thinking that it would have, I'm not entirely sure how the back offs work, but I know there's like a key, so you could put like the machine health checks namespace name in as a key, and then if it's for the same machine health check deleting machines in a hot loop, it would back off and eventually only be deleting machines for that like every 15 minutes. That would then stop the machines from going, and users will be able to see, what the error was. Do you think that would be a solution that would be suitable, or?
So for a permanent error, it would still be something that is a bit short in terms of time. But yeah, I'd say I'll open an issue and then we can discuss some potential solutions for this.
Yeah, an issue sounds good. Thanks. Sounds like there's definitely some use cases around this. All right. So moving on to cluster resource set. I don't know who wrote this. Oh, Sedef? Oh yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so I just wanted to let everyone know that we reached the lazy consensus. And if there are no other comments, I'd like to merge it hopefully soon.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, if anyone has any, comments that are blocking, please let us know. But otherwise, I think, yeah, let's move this forward. Yeah, Andy?
I was just thinking maybe we could do lazy consensus for Friday instead of a full week, since we've had this out there for a while. Does that sound okay to people? Or today?
Has it already?
I think we already reached.
Yeah, I think it's already reached the end of lazy consensus. Okay. So cool. Yeah, I think you should be good to merge it if the approvers have approved. Awesome. Are there any other discussion topics that anyone wants to bring up, or any questions that anyone has? All right, everyone is feeling shy today. Okay, so let's move on to the triage. I had this tab open and it's going to be really short because there's only one issue actually that is not triaged. Can you all see my screen with the issue?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So there's only one that doesn't have a milestone assigned, and it's this one. Mel, I think you're in here. Do you want to talk about this a little bit?
Yeah, so I brought this. So hi, everybody. I brought this issue on the 6th of May, so 20 days ago, and I forgot about this. So we started using Cluster API, and we wanted to use CapD as a way of, because we use that in our CI, and we don't really, and currently the only way to use CapD is to build the CapD controller manager locally, because the latest images are not pushed to any registry. And so this is just, the question is, can we do something? And I can definitely help.
So I see Vincent's already commented on this.
Yeah, so I can see either way. Like when we released 030, we decided not to tag any CupD images, mostly because we don't want users to use them, like in production, or like and we should make sure that like folks understand like there are no guarantees on this code and it's only used for development and testing. I'm fine adding them to the staging repo. Maybe we can just, I don't know, push every time we merge instead of like adding tags. I don't know if folks have thoughts about that. But yeah, I would try to avoid tags if possible. Like I don't want to signal that like this should be used or something like that.
Andy?
Yes, so you can see the comment I added. I'm fine with staging master tag only. No releases to the prod bucket though.
Yeah. Fabrizio?
I just want only to add that if we can add also tag, this will really simplify the quick start for developer experience.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can't raise my hand, but +1 for staging only for me. I think tagging makes sense though. Anyone else have any thoughts on this?
So
Okay,
I heard two things though. Like, so someone is saying like we should tag it, and someone said like only master, right? Like, so which one should we do?
So Mel, in terms of your use case, would the master tag suffice, or would you need like tags that match the releases?
Yeah, it would definitely make sense to just have master because it's just for onboarding new developers on this, and it's faster when the Docker image is already somewhere. And we use the tip of the master anyway, so it's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. What do we want to do in terms of milestone here? Current milestone. It sounds like you wanted to help with this now. Sorry, Vince.
Yeah, I'm gonna tag it to 403x.
Okay.
And assign.
Great.
And feel free to reach out if you need any help with the release stuff.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it up. I think this is all in terms of issues. And this might be a really short meeting unless anyone has anything they want to add, any questions, or else we can just call this a day and everyone gets back 30 minutes. Oh, Andrew.
You're all wonderful people. Thank you.
Okay, I think we should end it here. That was a great note to end it. But I don't see any hands raised, so have a good day, everyone. Thanks for coming, and see you all next week.
Thanks, everyone.